So what advice do you have for current buyers that are concerned with these higher rates and sometimes don't think they could buy with their current credit score in conjunction with the higher rates?
That's a great question too. And these are all phenomenal questions in a market that is very unsure, but the
Mhm.
numbers don't lie. Okay. And we sat on a call. Anybody who knows anybody in this mortgage business listens to the guru. His name is Barry Habib. And Barry, his daughter actually works for Cross Country Mortgage. So we had a nice one-on-one with him, considering his daughter owns a branch in New Jersey. And the numbers he showed us with the chart and the way inflation is and all those numbers, he's
Yeah.
been right every other time. And we are going to see a rate reduction in 2023, maybe at the end of quarter one, beginning of quarter two. But right now, you are not competing against a lot of people. You have a better chance of getting a great deal on a house, maybe get it for a little less than what the house is selling for, plus some closing costs if the house has been sitting for a while. My advice to anybody looking to buy is don't worry about the rate or the payment right now. It's not going to be your forever mortgage. It could be your forever home that you see your family growing in, but rest assured, you will be able to make that house more affordable when the rates do drop. So be aggressive. I think personally now is the best time to buy that I've seen in the last 15 years, considering the market we're in. We're in this weird stalling phase after the new year, rate beginning before spring market comes. Be aware when rates drop, when that first inclination that they are headed down, and they may drop 3/8%, maybe even 0.5%, all those people that are sitting on the fence, they're all coming off. And when they do, we are
Competition.
going to create a seller's market like we had previously. And then you're not going to be able to be as competitive and get a deal that works for you and your family. So think smart. Get pre-approved now. We offer a fast track approval process that gets you in front of an underwriter with a pre-commitment to lend, waiting for a home. So you've already gone through underwriting, you've already gone through the credit and income qualification process, and you've been issued a commitment to lend up to X amount of dollars. And once you find a home, the only thing you need is a contract, title, and appraisal, and you can close. So act fast, because when everybody gets off the fence who's been stalling because of the holidays, you are now going to be competing against a lot of other people, and you may not get that good deal.
Yeah, and they kind of say that about stocks too, right? Like buy
Mhm.
low, so when the risk is high, it's not always necessarily a bad thing. And like I've
Yeah.
been telling a lot of my sellers, even with the properties that aren't cosmetically perfect, buy now when you can get it for a lower price because there's less competition and you can build your own equity in it. So when that market is higher, your equity's higher.
Yes.
But not to mention the whole interest rate thing with, it's not a forever rate. So when your rate drops, your payment's lower, you've got more equity, the pieces will fall together.
They
Um,
will. We're not
and
going to see price increases of homes or a sort of appreciation in value like we saw in those anomaly years, the
no
15,
way.
20%. We're probably going to see a continued 5 or 6%, but just because it's not 20%, which everybody was so used to thinking their house is going to continue to appreciate 20% a year, those days are over, but we're
Mhm,
still appreciating and you're
mhm.
still building equity and getting a house and not having to pay 50,000 over list to get it because rates were in the twos. Those days are now gone. You can get a great deal, a good offer, be competitive, potentially have your seller concessions paid for, a temporary buy down from the seller, as we discussed, all built into your offer. And it can be a perfect loan for you now, but
Mhm.
even better when
Right.
rates drop. So I'm a firm believer. I love nothing more than helping people accomplish the goal of homeownership from a lending standpoint. But after 20 some years of doing this, I've been around the good, the bad, and I've never seen it the way that it is right now. And every offer that gets ratified that I see has some sort of concessions built in by the sellers, payable on behalf to the buyers. So it's a great time, in my opinion, to be able to buy and get a great deal.
Absolutely. Yep. And slow and steady wins the race. So,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, for a lot of these home buyers, not investors, you want to be building equity consistently. And if you're doing it quickly, there's a very good chance it's going to drop off. So slow and steady definitely wins the race.
It is. And with that being said, too, what caused interest when interest rates rose, guess what else rose? The price of renting. And 100% of nothing is nothing. You're not building equity when you are paying the rent for a landlord who is capable of raising rent 20% from one year to the next because they know they can get it. So, for the first time ever in my life, I am actually a landlord. When we moved recently to Harford County in November of 2021, I had a family home I built for my kids in 05, raised all of my children in this home. And I can say right now, being a landlord, it's unbelievable what I can get for a single family home for rent. I even scratch my head wondering how,
Yeah.
why are people spending this much to rent when they could be using that to own? And every person's individual financial situation is different, but as you're paying someone else's rent, and I'm a firm, I see it.
Yeah.
They're paying me to rent my house when they could definitely buy.
Mhm.
And renters and landlords know that. So it's why not put that money towards building equity in a home that we've talked about is going to appreciate in value. Put your money to good use. I think
Mhm.
it's a great way to put your money in these days.
Yeah, and the number one response I get when I'm having these conversations with renters or potential renters is, well, my credit's not good enough. Well, do you know what your credit's around? Yeah, 630, 640. Well, and not to
Can buy.
mention, a lot of the times, rental requirements are so close to what you would need to qualify for a mortgage anyway, if not more,
It
depending on that
is.
landlord.
Yeah, I use a property management company, and I love what they do. They are a phenomenal group, and I can tell you the process to get approved before they even send it to
Mhm.
me
Yeah.
for me to approve is strenuous. It
Yeah.
is strict. It's just like applying for a mortgage loan.
Yeah.
Now, the good thing about our credit system as well for people who think that they may not be ready to buy or their credit may not be up to par, we utilize a system here that actually shows people the things that they can do instantly to get their credit score up
Mhm.
anywhere from 10 to 70 points by doing a few things. It's called a rapid rescore.
Yep.
Most lenders have some sort of credit expert type rescore scenario that comes along with their credit report that they get for clients. And
Mhm.
it is phenomenal that a very few dollars spent, less than $1,000 to someone's credit report, if they have it available, they can drastically improve their credit score. When they do that, it opens up the door for down payment assistance loans. It opens up the door for them to get first time home buyer programs and be eligible for those things that actually could cover all of their closing costs, down payment, and buy a house with as little as no money out of pocket. So step number one is talking to a lender, finding out what your credit score is, the things that you need to do to be able to buy now, and working with someone who's not about right now, meaning about helping you over 3, 6, or 9 months fulfill that goal, helping your credit repair and putting you on that great path. So one day we could sit across from them saying, guess what? You did exactly what we asked you to do. Now you're here buying a home. Congratulations. And that's what it's all about.
Yeah, absolutely. And just real quick on the credit score topic, I have a lot of people that are like, well, Credit Karma says this, and explaining to them that a mortgage is much more in depth than what you're seeing from one of those credit bureaus that have a third party agreement with
Mhm.
someone like, Chase Credit Card or Credit Karma or things like that. That it's always good to prepare, 6 months ahead so that when you are ready, it's not an emergency plan at that point. It's I'm prepared and I've had a plan in place. And that's a huge,
Yes.
yeah, that's
Great point. Yeah, being prepared is without a doubt the most important part. When you start that process early,
mhm.
then you understand, because my team is designed to help people understand the process from beginning to end. If you're not ready now, we're going to find a way to get you ready, whether it's 3, 6, or 9, as I mentioned previously,
Mhm.
and we're going to take the necessary steps so when that time comes and you find that right house, you've already done everything you've needed to do to be prepared for that time.
Yeah.
And again, working with a reputable agent like yourself and a lender like myself, it's very easy for us to set you on the right path. So when that time does come, you're prepared. You've been given all the information you need to make the best decision for your family.
And ultimately less stress, right? Because,
Yes.
when you're in an emergency situation, that causes stress, but being prepared, just that part's already aside. I'm ready to move forward. And that's a big difference in the process as well. Yeah.
It is. Stress is huge. And again, real another quick story about me when I moved in November. As I mentioned, I built my first house in 2005. So I haven't been in front of this process in some time.
Mhm.
And I kind of lost touch with the stress that comes involved of being on the other side of the transaction. And I had to experience it for the first time in a long time in the last year. And I tell you, it gave me a refresher of everything that clients go through and the questions, the thoughts, the emotions that goes through in buying a home. And it really gave me a boost of energy and excitement and understanding, knowing what people go through. So now I can relate on exactly the stresses that come along with buying a home. And there is nothing more stressful than trying to rush through something, saying, oh my gosh, I have to do this, or I need to do this to be able to buy. If you start early, you get your ducks in a row and you come well prepared, I assure you that process is not stressful at all. It's actually enjoying. You learn something, and the day you get your keys to your home, you say, there wasn't a part of this that I wasn't aware of. Nothing was a surprise to me. My agent, my lender did everything possible to make this enjoyable. And that's the ultimate goal. Make it fun, make it a memorable moment that you don't say, oh, good gosh, buying a house was the craziest thing I could have ever done. And when you rush, sometimes those stressors do come out, and we want to avoid that.